Welcome, everybody. Uh, Hell of a day today so far. So, I'm gonna preface this with if um if I have to leave briefly I'm waiting on a phone call. So, I may at some point have to put an away message up real quick to take it. So if I do, I apologize. Um, but it's a pretty serious call that I'm waiting for. So, all right. With that aside, you'll notice I've cleaned things out. Cleaned things out pretty good. Um, no saves. Masters are cleaned, by the way. I've already gone through that instead of having people sit through it. I know it's not the most fun thing to do, but um, yeah, it was definitely done. So hopefully you can all see the screen okay. Looks pretty good on my end. Let me just move my MO2 slightly. There we go. I went back to the salmon color. I like it. So we'll figure it out. Just check Discord real quick to see if people got into the know. Okay, campfire. All right. Seems like it's good on this end. Uh, Looks like myself and just one other. That's okay. But wait, I know it's you know, it's Monday, almost noon here, so a little after, well, about 20 after 11 my time. You'll have to excuse my voice as well. I am sucking on cough drops because uh, my voice is scratchy due to. Ah, hey Red, what's up? Home, how are you? I like the hair, by the way. I think it looks pretty badass. Metal signs are going up right now. um, I'm just mentioning if my phone rings, I am gonna have to put a message up and take it. I'm waiting for a very, very important phone call. You're out shopping? I saw the Korean. A little bit jealous. Uh, I love Korean food. We don't have any. Well, we have some professional Korean restaurants around here. Um, and they do make really good food. Probably not nearly as good as you'd find in like a major city, but we have a few. Oh, nice. Very cool. So if I do get that phone call, I'm just gonna put a message up saying I'll be back. It should probably take me no longer than 5-10 minutes. So it would just be like as if I was doing a normal stream, with the character and through gameplay. You guys know, with my back being the way that it is, sometimes I have to get up and just, you know, take a 10-minute from here. This is going to be the same. I don't know when the call is going to come. Um, I'm assuming not between noon and 1 when uh, my human resources department takes their lunch. So probably sometime after that if I am still doing this, which I probably will be. In all, in all honesty, I probably will be. Um, so basically, I'll give you a very short rundown. Um, the Noble will take less if you are a premium member. If you have fiber, you should get the full Noble in like less than a minute. Your download speed should be ridiculous. I download the whole Noble and it takes me 2.5 minutes, maybe less than that, and I'm only 30 megabytes a second. If you guys have fiber, It should be almost instantaneous. Premium's $4. If you were looking for, here, I'll show you real quick. It is for a month. Like you get it for a month. There's different options. I'll go to my profile here. So you can see I'm premium here, right? Um, you'll see my status here is premium. So when you go to um, when you go to uh, the paid part here, there's other tiers. Well, premium just means you pay into Nexus mods, and you could do it for I think it's $4.99 American USD, but it's for a month. It's for a full month. Um, there's other tiers too. I think there's one for 10, which gives you 3 months. I know there's one. I chose one last year. It was a 6 month one, and I think it was only $20. There's a lifetime one. The lifetime one's the one that I'm going to be picking up um, when this one expires. And the lifetime membership, and it's for all games on Nexus. It's for all mods, all content, and it is uh, 50, and it's 50 for lifetime. The going premium unlocks the speed cap of downloads. If you're not a premium member, you're capped at I think it's 1 megabyte per second, which is very low. But just being a premium member, even for 1 month, even if you only spend like the $4 or I think it's like $5 with the surcharge, um, it uncaps it to whatever your download speed is. So if you have fiber and your fiber says, hey, your downloads are 400 megabytes a second, then for $4, $5, you get 400 megabytes a second download, which is fantastic if you're on fiber. I'm on cable. I don't have fiber in my area, but my download speeds are around 28 to 32 megabytes a second, which is decent. It's good. For me, it's good. But it's also why it takes me, a little longer than the average user to download. But like I said, I could download Noble in less than 2 minutes for the full suite, plus the patch for SMEM to merge it. You know, and yeah, oh yeah. See, if you have fiber, I'd definitely do it. I would go there right now, pay the $4. You'll have it for a month. The month just started, and it will be from today's date, the 6th, until February 6th. You'll have it for a full 30 or 31 days. And then at the end of that, you'll go back to just a member. As long as you have your account and everything, you'll just go to a member, and it'll give you another option to, if you want to re-up it for another $4, you can, or you could pick one of their other options. I think it goes 1 month, 3 month, 6 months, a year, and a lifetime. I think those are the ones. But because I'm already premium, I'd have to go in to check. Um, Let me see here. I don't know exactly. I think it might be in community. Let's see, mods. No, let's try community real quick. Um, to be honest, I'm not really sure. It may be here somewhere in your profile, right? When you come here, you could say gift premium forum. Like this would take me to my forum profile, etc. I have other, obviously more stuff that I've either endorsed and it continues load more items, stuff like that. But it should be somewhere here on your profile page. Um, Anyway, hey Tim, welcome. So yeah, so that's the whole deal. So like I said, if I receive that phone call, I'll just put a message up saying I'm going to be away. It won't be any different than as if I was streaming a character. I'll be gone for about 10 minutes. It's got to do with my back. It's medical. It's got to do with human resources sending me a nice email today stating that they never received my fax from January 2nd, which was Thursday, about absences that they were requesting, which I had my doctor's office fax over. My human resources director, this is the the guy who's in charge of everything, is stating that Oh, I never received anything. All right, there we go. Mike's back on. Sorry. Yeah, you stated he never received anything. And can they please resend it to the fax number? So I immediately called my doctor's office to confirm that they had faxed it over because I had called after they faxed it to confirm that they'd already done it before, which was Friday. And Friday they told me they had faxed it over Thursday, which means he would have gotten it. Now he left his office early Friday, right around 12:30 in the afternoon p.m. So if he had a fax come Thursday, he would have received it Thursday. He would have at the very least received it Friday morning before he left for the weekend. And then I get an email today saying, "Oh, he never received it. And could I please have my doctor's office refax it?" So, and I read back the number. The girl who was on the phone in the office at my doctor's office read back the number exactly as the same number he gave me. So they're screwing me around. They're basically dicking me around. So my tensions are a little bit high, my nerves are shot, my anxiety's going pretty good, and the Xanax hasn't kicked in yet. Not yet. I'm waiting for it to, which is why I'm a little, you know, a little on edge today. Yeah, they're fucking me, is what they're doing. Plain and simple. So I'm looking into a lawyer because it's negligence on the part of my store manager, and I've had everything documented since I got injured. I've been injured over a year. For those of you who don't know, I got hurt there at work last not this past November, but November of 2018, and I've been working hurt with two fractures and a bulging disc in my back. And even on work restrictions, I still have to do a physical job. And they only have so much FMLA time. If you're not familiar with FMLA, it's Family Medical Leave Act. You are allotted X amount of days slash weeks. Uh, your job cannot release or get rid of you for any reason during that time, but you also don't get paid for it. It's just basically a placeholder for your job for when you're able to come back. Um, so we're trying to fight this. All I want to do is get back there so I can continue to pay my insurance to pay for whatever they're going to do to my back. And it's been basically a nightmare. So 2020 has not started off the way that I would have expected. Um, moving away from personal issues, right there. The Braumin playthrough is done. It's over. I wiped clean. Unfortunately, I had an issue with I was telling Tim this too. I had an issue finishing up Murray's quest, and Tim actually gave me some really, really good advice because I had loaded her into. She was ticked when I ran my LODs, when I ran Dindalad. So what I did this morning was I unchecked her, I reran my LODs without her area edits being loaded in, and then I reticked her. And I was getting the same issue. It was major stutters around Winterhold, and I was basically not able to fast travel. Well, I didn't do much of anything yesterday, so I figured to let my PC just kind of relax, take the night off. We'll start fresh again on Monday morning. Well, same issue. Once I had regenerated the LODs through Dynalod and TextGen, then I activated Murray. Um, and it seemed good at first, but then I didn't want to immediately fast travel. I wanted to test the area that I had made the hard save in. And for you guys that were paying attention to the stream and you were there for it, you'll know it was on those ice flows right outside of her extra edit, her area edit, to where you rescue her at the end of her quote unquote quest, before her and her mother return to her home in Markarth. Um, not to spoil anything if you guys haven't used her. I picked her and I wanted to use her, but I didn't think she was going to wind up being such a good follower. She's actually an amazing follower. So, um, however, that didn't work. I was still having stuttering issues, um, so much so that it lagged and my FPS would drop from an immediate 59, 60 FPS right to about 3 or 4, freeze my game, and then crash, kick me out. It was doing the same thing it was doing, so it's not that. I ruled that out as an issue. So needless to say, frustration set in. I tested a few other things. Um, I think I found the culprit, but I'm not at liberty to say yet. I still have a few more tests to do on a second profile. I will get to that when I get to that. And if it's what I think it is, I'm going to be sorely disappointed because it's a mod I always use. So today, we are going to... I had been planning a secondary character for when Braven's character was actually finished, and it was going to be an Argonian. And my setup was to be identical. It was going to be the exact same load order with just a couple things that were different. Um, this is my mod list from Braven, and I will see if I can. I mean, if I explode it up, it's not really. You guys aren't really going to be able to read it much better than as if I just uh, enhance, enhance, enhance. Ah, boy. Yeah, Ren, you'll enjoy premium because as soon as you unlock premium, yeah, it wasn't a terrible FPS. It was awful. And like I said, I tested it this morning after I had I had uh, deactivated Murray, right? I had rerun all my LODs, rerun TextGen, rerun DynDOLOD. This is all in the middle of dealing with emails and stuff like this, right? Well, here's the thing now. I can't actually suggest you use Braven's. This is Braven's right here. This is his mod list from bottom to top because that's how it loads. Okay. I actually can't recommend using this now because of the issues that I encountered. I don't know if it was because of Murray. Uh, I don't think so. I've used her on console without issue in the same area with almost the same mods, with the exception of the stuff that was Nexus exclusive. uh, which I don't feel like they would have been an issue. And a lot of these are mods that I've been constantly using. Um, I honestly don't know what it is, but I have sort of an idea, and I'm hoping it's not what it is. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is we will we'll put him to rest for now. I did save. Let me go into my save mods here. I have Braven's Nord preset saved. So if I ever decide that I want to revisit him, his uh his character gen presets are right here. They're all right here. Braven. Yep. So we have him saved. We have Alistair saved too, but Alistair I probably won't be revisiting. This will probably get deleted out. But Braven is saved. I did save his preset. One thing I did remember to do. As you can see, this was the load order. I'm going to keep this up mainly for things in the beginning, my UI stuff, my core mods, um, certain ones. Certain ones I am going to forego this time. Um, you guys know I say this all the time. I try to limit it to a certain amount of mods, and then it just winds up being 100 to 150 mods more than I would have wanted. Um, my initial take, and I had spoke to Nesbitt about this earlier, was that it was Matthew's landscape now. I had issues with his trees. Um, I took the trees out before this play, so I've been using EVT. So Enhanced Vanilla Trees was used in this one, and it worked perfectly fine. The LODs for the trees were great. Um, everything else was fine. I was using his 3D landscapes. Let's see if I can get to where I have his landscapes. They should be here under vegetation. I have Dave's UHD mountains, his majestic version 4K, with the darker 4K merged because that's how it's required. Okay. Vadosprum was my grass. Enhanced Vanilla Trees were my trees. We have Skyrim 3D landscapes with the billboards. And the 2K ground cover is also available. And landscape fixes. That's pretty much it. A couple retexts for things like mushrooms, the more tapenella, giant lichen, swamp fungal pod, and Mari's death bells are here, but they're underneath. Where is it? Death bells by Mari. You actually have to put if you're running Forgotten Retext project, you have to move this death bell mod underneath it because Forgotten Retext has its own. And what I was finding is if you put the death bells with the rest of the fungus and the mushrooms, it automatically becomes a redundant mod. So you will not see the benefits of a 179 megabyte death bell mod. Also meaning that if you're running ENB Lite for the death bells, you won't see that either. And for me, that's pretty much a no option. Or it's non-option, I guess. I have to have this death bell mod, and I have to have the ENB Lite for the death bells. It just makes everything look so much better. So, as I said, we may also be testing out a mod that I recently ported to console, Autumn Skies. Let me just get back in here real quick. I think I can hit back. There it is. Let's take a look. There it is. All right. So I recently brought this over to the console community, and in our Discord, if you go to the screenshots, JB posted a bunch of pictures of this. He's in love with it, and it does the weather and it does interior lighting. Um, it has some presets. It's a small file. It's like 3.4 or 3.6 megabytes. So it's on par with something like I think was it Mythical Ages, Obsidian, um, the other um, smaller weather mods. But you would combine it with something like a nice cloud mod, Obsidian Mountain Fogs. If since you're obviously not running Obsidian, you can't run two weather mods that do the same thing. Um, but to give you an idea, it almost looks like at certain points, and I'll see if I could find some. Well, here the first one here. This is without an E and B, and it's got shades of Cathedral weathers in it, right? With the sun. It's got really nice God rays. The landscape looks really good. Um, this is Bleak Falls. You can see it makes the interiors darker. But I've seen Bleak Falls look really good, and you'll see the light coming in, hitting the wall. That makes sense. It's a little bit brighter, but you'll see the areas that are off to the side that don't have direct light. Well, they're all darker. But that makes sense. You're in a cavern. You're in a crypt. You're in a Nordic ruin. Um, let's see what else here. Other atmospheres, the rains. Look how gloomy this looks, right? I mean, this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm assuming this is either the evening. It's overcast right there. I mean, you all you see is cloud cover. You see the fogs, the mist on the mountain, and you see the rains coming down. That makes sense. Um, and then a nice clear day here, right outside Whiterun. This looks like vanilla cloud cover, or this could possibly be cloud cover from this weather mod. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but I know adding a secondary, and then you can see the sun. And the sun is very visible, and this is very important to be able to see at least part of the sun. The way you can see it like this, and there's a reason for this. Having the sun blot out, if you plan on doing the Dawnguard questline on either side, you're going to eventually blot the sun out. Or you're going to use the sun to rain down holy light against undead. Okay, with Oriel's bow. So having other mods that cover it up, and it's sometimes hard to tell. You can kind of get an idea where it's at, but it's not really there. That could be taxing and frustrating. The fact that you can see it, you can see the rays coming down, and it looks quite nice. But it's also got a nice hue, some nice coloring around these clouds with the sun. Um, and then, this looks like it would be either early morning or dusk in Whiterun, and I do quite like the sky in the background. Um, Now, I had spoken to Skeletor very early this morning. He sent me a message just to say hey, ask me how I'm doing. Um, I hadn't heard from him since last year. He's been very, very busy. He's been busy with work, which is why he popped into Discord today. I believe it was to answer a couple questions on the Xbox side of it. And I just wanted to say, hey, how you're doing? But I told him, I said I ported this over to console, and I said, were you the original one that ported it, but it was taken down? He's like, yeah. He's like, I ported it. He's like, but there was something about it that I didn't like, so I wanted I took it down. And I said, well, if you don't mind me asking, what didn't you like about it? He's like, well, there's only a couple spots in the game, but uh, sometimes the way that the light hits certain textures, you may see like a small green dot or a small pink dot. It's very non-noticeable. Um, and he's like, there's probably maybe a handful of people that would even know what to look for. I went looking for it. I couldn't find it. You know, he did it first, and he's obviously okay with me doing it. Plus, I have permission from Taro to port it over, which is in the Bethesda net. I have it, you know, I always get perms for everything I port over, so I made sure that was up there. But I quite like it, and a lot of other users seem to like it as it is. So, but we may be going with this, and then the only EMB I was able to really find for it, I think it's at the bottom here. What's it called? So Sin Extreme Realism EMB. I've never used this. Um, but it's for Autumn Skies, and your game will look like this, or this, or this. There is a lot of color going on here, right? I'm assuming this is Wonders of Weather. I think it's the only one that adds the rainbow. So now I'm tempted to add Wonders of Weather. Um, However, what I'm not so sure on doing is, and I was talking to Tim about this a little bit earlier, do I want to run Cathedral Landscapes? My initial plan for my Argonian was to use nothing but Skyland. Maybe Noble as a base, but overwrite it with Skyland. And that's it. I'm not going to go into separate mods for Underground, like T4G's Underground mod, because um, between everything John Rose does, it covers everything except for Windhelm and SMIM. So I'm going to run SMIM. I'm going to run Enhanced Texture Detail at Ruins Clutter Improved, but we're going to probably run um, everything Skyland. Or do I go Cathedral? What's up, Gina? Welcome. I still haven't figured that out. That was literally the message Tim was sending me. Where was it? It's in here somewhere. Oh, Nesbitt's looking for me. He's blending Noble and Luxor. Have good performance, no errors. Nesbitt will be streaming. Awesome. Ren, did you see this? Unpledged returns this week. Yes! Yes! Kaleo returns on Wednesday. Oh, that made my day so much better. For those of you who may not know, I am a huge, huge supporter of uh, Couchware's Discord and Stu in general. So, um, Ren, if you're able to link this here, I'm gonna link this in Discord, or if you get a chance to link it, put it up in provincial cart. Sorry, yeah, you could put it up in provincial courier, or I'll get to it when I do. That's awesome to see. That is very cool to see. Hold on, I gotta get used to his stuff again. I usually do this all the time. Stu is my inspiration. Um, I gotta find something. This is an inside joke here. Hold on. You guys gotta give me 1 second. Oh, come on. What's it doing? Go back up. Where are the letters? Where are the letters? Here they are. Come on, get it, get it, get it. Now where are the numbers? F5. There we go. Alright, that's enough. Oh yeah. So, awesome, Ren. Thank you. Very cool. So here it is for anybody that's interested. It's going to be in the Provincial Courier, right here. I'm actually going to pin this. Hell yeah. So if you need to know, it's going to be in the pin section up top here. You could find it if you need the link. If this ever gets filled up more and you have to backtrack, it is pinned now. So you know I am a huge, huge supporter of Couch Warrior and his entire Discord and everything that they do. They host a Extra Life marathon from the Extra Life charity benefits once a year, and I've been a part of it the last 2 years myself. I know many others have been a part of it for the last three. I think they've been doing it for four. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's just three, but I've been part of it for two, and it's to raise money for charity. And the last 2 years it's been for the Gillette Children's Hospital. So that won't be again till later this year, but um, his characters are very in depth, very well thought out. The story has a purpose. Um, they're all completely voiced, whether by Stu himself or others in his community. Um, there are mods that are specifically made for the story, for the character, for other characters within the story. Um, a lot of work goes into them, and they are live streamed. And if you've ever been a part of any of them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the magnitude of this. So I'm happy to see that's back. I know he said he was taking a break. I believe this goes back to November, or maybe the very beginning of December. He was taking all of December into January off to kind of reset, spend time with the family, do the holiday thing, and that's totally understandable. But I'm happy he's back. I would love to see everybody come out for that when he's going to be streaming this Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday, um, 7 p.m. Central Time here in the United States, which is 8 p.m. for me. So I'm on the East Coast. He's more central located, so there's an hour time difference there. Uh, yeah. The Return of Couch Warrior, bringing Kaleo back. Kaleo's story is very, very unique. Um, and the Kaleo character has grown on me so much. I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a melee character was because I was having withdrawals from not seeing Cleo every Wednesday, and it made me want to switch over from my normal mage style to a combat. And then of course it grew into fun and it grew into Braven, so it is what it is. All right, so let's get all this down here. And I think it's my dashboard. Oh, it's just my phone. Okay. So I already cleaned the master files. We're gonna have to change this. Let's go to manage. Lord Warrior. I have to rename you something, don't I? Yes, I do. Argonian. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? We're going to be an Argonian. Let's get some stuff done. Let's actually do things. I haven't done anything yet. I've cleaned the masters. So let me just run loot for the hell of it because, get it out of the way. Yeah, I know nothing's there. Alright. 5 plugins, 2 messages. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get the script extender. I was hoping Mel would be up for this. I know she said she wanted to watch. Should probably move this up here. Keep that out of the way a little bit. I grab my game folder. Ooh, I don't have it up. I usually do. I'll be damned. Open up. Good boy. So let's take the SKSE files. Bring SKSE in. Minimize this. We don't need the script extender anymore. We do need SKSE. So let's get that. SKSE 64 scripts. That is a created mod. That's going to go right above my core. Now, let's add it in. The loader. Right? And use apps. Yep. There we go. There it is. All right. So let's I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna close the display capture. We're gonna make sure everything's running good. Now, here's the other question. I have not decided on if I am running TPOS2 for this Argonian. I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to mitigate patches. There are also a bunch of other mods I want to try, or at least test out. We're going to be doing testing. We'll be doing testing probably most of this week, or I will be doing testing most of this week, and I will stream as much of it as I can if you guys want to see it. Let me run the game first. Let me just make sure SKSE is doing its thing. It should be. So we'll run it. And this is what I want. I want to immediately hit that run and have my game pop right up. It's right there. 60 FPS. We have no files loaded. You have the stupid Creation Club stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Wow, it was so fast, it didn't even pop up for you guys yet. Let me just, I think it's my phone. Let me reset. Okay, there it is. Now you guys can see it. Alright. Alright. Version 2.0.17. Alright, we're good. That's all we need. Let's quit out. Always do that before you start loading your mods. Always. I can't stress it enough. It's something that's overlooked highly. You want to make sure SKSE is running, because if you did run into a hiccup somewhere, you won't know, and then by that time you'll get to the end of your mod, you'll get to a certain spot in your mod list, and you try to run it, and you'll instantly CTD, and you'll have no idea why. I actually had to reinstall SKSE a second time on a play because I had tested it, it ran fine. I think I got down to my weather mod. I was about to test out a couple weathers. So I ran it, and I was instantly CTDing, and it was the exact same setup that I've been doing for so long. I know it like the back of my hand. I could not figure out why. So the first thing I did was uninstall and reinstall SKSE. I just said, well, all right, let me just double check. And the same files overwrote the old files, and I re-added it to my executables tab. The SKSE scripts mod that I create, added it right there. It's the exact same one, although it said in parentheses number 2 because it was the second one. I'm like, okay. I ran it. It was fine. So you will get that occasionally. Sometimes it happens. All right. So let's go to my list. I need all my core stuff, or most of my core stuff. We're gonna do things a little bit different. I don't believe I'm gonna run Dear Diary this time. I don't believe so. Dear Diary cut off some dialogue for me. Plus, I want to use some other stuff. As much as I like certain things that it does, I miss the base Sky UI and everything. I could leave it off. I don't know. There's some things I could not choose. I could just, opt not to take them. Yeah, I did the same thing too, Tim. Others, yeah, that use the mod. Yep. It's not that I. Here's the thing, and Ren, since you're bringing it up, I think I've narrowed it down to what I believe are a couple issues, and it's not just one mod. It's several. So you guys know I already got rid of Matthew's trees. But his landscape mod also has a couple extra plants slash trees, couple things added in. And I noticed the one you could see is in Whiterun, right? It's the one between the Drunken Huntsman and Servio Pelagio's home, not the farm, but his actual home inside the city. It's the one that's up right next to Carlotta's stall, the one right behind it, right? So there's a tree in between those two, and with 3D landscapes, it adds a different tree into there, and it's not positioned 100% properly. And there's other things too. Um, the snow has been off just a tad. Um, it's caused landscape splits that I've seen. And like I mentioned to Nesbit earlier, I put up with it just because I was having so much fun with the character and it wasn't causing CTDs. So that's why I said I'm going to be doing things a little bit different. And it's been a while since I've run Skyland, and of course I like a semi 3D setup, but at the same time, I don't want to have to run into issues at level 31 where it's nothing but stutter, stutter, crash, stutter, stutter, crash. And then to try and troubleshoot it after you've put in, you know, 80, 80 hours, 90 hours almost into a character, it's a little disheartening, you know? There are going to be some that I will overwrite. Some of the main stuff, like the question now is, do I go with Noble still as a base, and just overwrite with everything Skyland. I probably will. I probably won't use Skyland Whiterun. I do like Noble Whiterun. Um, Not that Skyland's not a good overhaul for it. I just prefer the look of Noble in Whiterun Hold itself. Now, I'm obviously going to use Skyland Riften. That by far is the best texture overhaul for Riften, in my opinion. I probably won't use Skyland Markarth. I will probably use Frank HD, the White City, I think it's called. But I'm also going to overwrite that with was it Glorious Dwarven Metal, just for the metal. There's others up there too, Ren. If you're looking for, let me see here. If you're looking for other recommendations, this was Bravens here, right? Uh, Other ones from me, you could see, Tim and I post ours up all the time, and sometimes, him and I feed off of each other's lists, our mod lists, because it's cool to see what somebody else is using and integrate it into your own. Oh, you can't see. Oh, yeah, that's right. Shit, hold on. There you go. Sorry, I still had the game thing on. All right. So yeah, Bravens is up here, right in the middle. This was what I have a date Saturday. Yeah. And Tim put up a new mod list. I've actually got to check that out. Um, the Necromage that I did, I think this is the Breton. So what I do is I would just, grab the mod list if you wanted to see it. Um, this was Athrolor, his well, right before Christmas time when I was still playing him, my vampire. Um, 1221. So you'd grab his mod list. I wouldn't worry about the plugins. The mod list has all the mods there. The plugins will take care of themselves. You want the mod list. You could download the plugins too. You could have both of them up. Like I said, I only have the one. I only need the one. Oops. And I don't remember which vampire this was. So here's the idea for this Argonian. We're gonna go back to vampire. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're nuking, nuke everything. Trust me. If you're gonna nuke stuff, get rid of everything. Reinstall your game. I did that this morning. Like I said, I was up very early this morning. That's what I did. I got rid of everything. Reinstalled. So, um, all right. Time to feel better, Moon. I know you probably aren't here and you can't hear it, but feel better. Let's get engine fixes. Let's go back here. Let's see. What else do I have? Yeah, engine fixtures stay at the system page. I have a bunch. I got a bunch. We got to get the basics down. That's the old version. Okay. So we need this one. Download. And we need the second part, the preloader, as a manual file. So let's get that out here. Let's go to downloads. This is engine fixes. Let's get that installed. This is the first under core mods. And then this, as you can see, it's been a while since I've done this. Extract it here. We'll get a nice little folder. Move it on over. And then you got your 3 files. And bingo. Engine fixes is good. We are golden. Minimize your game folder because you will be going back into that. Maximize your. Okay. And I have the Nordic guide up again. Like I said, I'm gonna be following some of the same. Uh, Stay at the system, more informative console. These should be fine. This is updated 12th. Yeah, this should be the good one here. Yep. Okay. More informative console. And we want, oh, I'm sorry, stay at the system page and more informative console. Yep. Make sure they're good. Okay. Bam, looks good. That looks good. Okay. Alright, so right under there. So right away we got a couple. Cross them off the list. Scale form has been updated, so we have better jumping, floating damage, floating health bar. The uncapper. We're gonna go back to the uncapper. I think I will be reusing that. Oh, you just did a full nuke yesterday? Well, if you weren't that far in, see that's the thing. Depending on how far in you were, if you didn't even start a game, you should be fine. Mod manager button's been working fine for me, so you know that like if you're premium now, Ren, then you should be fine. Even when I wasn't, it was still just enable Nexus links. Did you do that? You're running Mod Organizer, right? Um, where is it here? Nexus. So yeah, you'd want to go under your here, I'll show you. This is your settings, right? Go to Nexus, associate with download manager links. You want to hit this one. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's yep. If you haven't now, sometimes it'll auto sync this for you. I always click this anyway, just to make sure. But it's always worked for me. So I've only ever had to do this once, and it was the first time that I had run MO2. And then when I had deleted MO2 to update to the new version, I basically deleted everything off my PC. I re-downloaded Mod Organizer, and then I had to reassociate with download with manager links. That's the only other time I've ever done it. You could disconnect from Nexus. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. Um, that's that. All right. So better jumping. I always use this mod. This is a fantastic mod. This lets you jump while you're sprinting as well, which the base game does not allow you to do. And it's just freaking useful. So let's set that. Let's check to see what else I got. Scale form and then the floating stuff. Now I think if it's not this one, I have. Oh no, that is this one. Okay, so scale form was updated. Yep. Beautiful. Looks good. All right. Bring these back up. I wasn't going to use the separators today, but I decided to. So, let me try and go in order as best I can here. Because my core and my UI stuff was like in perfect order for me. Yeah, maybe. It could be that that's what it is. So I'm like I said, I'm totally unsure of whether or not I even want to use Noble and then overwrite with Skyland. It's a popular choice. You do get the architecture benefit from anything Skyland doesn't touch, which would be um, Windhelm. You'll see Noble there. And then if you don't use certain other Skyland modules, like say the Chantry College, uh, Whiterun, like the city overhauls, etc. Um, then you would see Noble, and it keeps it very light. It keeps it pretty light, even though the Skyland textures, uh, well, they make your map look better too. It's another reason why I want to use them. They make your map look pretty badass. Uh, floating damage, floating health bars. Yeah. So we'll do this. Let's yeah, there's floating damage. Bingo. And the health bars as well. Yep. Okay, so they look good too. Okay. And I'll try and do these more in batches if I can, but like I said, with the main stuff right here, I try to get everything done. Noble Whiterun by itself? Huh. That might be interesting. Use Skyland and all rustic mods. Better choice. Ah. Okay, hold on. Let me do I have it? I should have it. I saved everything. I have it in. Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's do this. There it is. Remove. Yes. Delete. Yes. Add. Health bars. Okay. Oh, okay, there it is. It's the yeah. Yeah, we just put you back in the save mods file. So Tim, with Skyland and the rustic mods, I'm gonna check that out. Let me see here. Let me just. All right, this is my save stuff. So Skyland with all basically all with Gamwitch's stuff, right? I could probably just go right to his library and pick everything else out. He's got a lot of good stuff. Rustic Mountains. That's interesting. Does he have an architecture mod? Right? Does Gamwitch have any I think that's all by him. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Alright, get that out of there. Let's see what else is on my list here. Stuff that I need. Scale form, we have these. Ah, the uncapper. Okay. We have to do this. So, yeah, it's going to be Ordinator. I'm going to go back and I have to figure out uh, which any I want to use for the uncapper. we need the uncapper itself. This is kind of, a requirement here. So we just need SKSE. So if you look under requirements, it'll say Shadowman's DLL loader, or there's other ones you can use. Um, it's a DLL plugin, but the requirements are uh, use original DLL loader, just overwrite with the new one. But the only requirement is SKSE. Ooh, excuse me. So as long as you have that, you should be fine. So let's get the uncapper going. Yeah, it requires SKSE or. The word or not being highlighted should be. If you don't have SKSE and you do want to run this though, you need the DLL loaders, unfortunately. I don't know why you'd be playing without SKSE if you're on PC anyway, so. That's the point. That's the point. All the mods. Alright. Let's get the uncapper. We'll set you. And we'll toss you right there. Alright, so do this thing. Open an Explorer. Check it out. Plugins. You have your DLL uncapper, okay? You need the uncapper ini. So what we need to do now is we need to run the game to generate the ini that's going to populate here and populate in our overwrite mod. Okay, so let me minimize my stuff here. So while we have the uncapper checked, enable SKSE, you're going to run the game. I will do this. I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to run the game by myself just so I don't have to keep opening and closing OBS to show you. Okay, so I'm going to run the game. It's just as if you're running the game for the first time from Steam. That's all it is. You're generating the inis. In this case, you're generating the uncapper ini. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let me run the game. I'm going to back right out afterwards. I love the fact that it's already up. I love it. It's amazing. Okay. Main page I'm on. And I'm going to quit out. Okay. We're good. Okay. Oh, you guys were actually able to see that. No shit. Okay. That was weird. You weren't supposed to, but you did. Okay. So you'll see up top here, there's something in our overwrite mod. So let's go down. Let's open it up. There's an SKSE plugin, Skyrim Uncapper Ini. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so close this up, close this down. And then you're going to double left click. Okay. And what I do is I like to lower this right to the bottom here. You're going to take this entire SKSE file. You're going to pull this right up to the top, and you're going to hover right over the Skyrim skill uncapper so it absorbs it. Okay. Make sure it's out of the overwrite mod. Now we need to make sure that it's in there properly. Home for lunch, Tim? Awesome. Having a good lunch, I hope, right? Alright, so reopen the Uncapper and Explorer, SKSE, plugins, Skyrim Uncapper Ini. There it is. Open with Notepad, or Notepad++. Okay. It'll show you what it does. Now it's at vanilla levels, it's vanilla settings right now. Okay. Your skills max out at 100. Okay. The skill cap formulas are 100. Okay. And your skill experience gain mults are also 1.0, which is default leveling. Okay. She never says no. Yeah, that's how mine is too. Giggity. Um, so yeah, the experience gain this is vanilla right here. You're looking at a vanilla ini setup for the uncapper, but we're gonna change this. Okay, we're gonna change all this. Just close this out for now. You don't need it yet. Okay. Because I'm running Ordinator, I'm going to go back since I'm still on the uncapper page here. Um, when it goes back to the description, for some reason now it's lagging on me. I'm going to open this one here. This is Dirty Weasels. Okay, because I'm not going to be running Complete Alchemy, and otherwise I'd be running Mr. B's. Uh, but I'm not going to be running Complete Alchemy. This character is not going to. He's still going to level slower. Well, I wonder if I still have to change that. I wonder if. Let's take a look. Hold on. So Mr. B's skill and capper for role players. That's this one here. Let's take a look. We'll compare. We'll compare the two. Um, Tim, have you used both of these like I have? Are you able to weigh in one way or another? Okay, so I'll give you some pros and cons. So Dirty Weasel Media. This is Cal's. Okay, he has he's got a solid uncapper any setup. It hasn't been updated for quite some time, since the 14th of July 2018. Now Mr. B's been working on his. His has been updated this past December. Okay. I've used these both. I used this on Capper with Braven, and I've used this one on multiple characters. My female Redguard vampire, and my what did I use it for? Oh, Athroler. I used it for him. The last one I used was Mr. B's. So again, you see Shadowman's DLL loader. Install this first. But it should just be an SKSE plugin. You could do the same thing that you do. You can still use it without CACO. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that then. Um, Updated NEC front page for details if you like my mods endorse. I did download this, didn't I? Let me endorse it. I thought I endorsed it already. Okay. Well, okay. So we're gonna mod manager download this one. You need the uncapper. You need SKSE. That's the bottom line. It's the bottom line. What I'm gonna do is the same thing I would do if I was running Cal's uncapper. Now his files are a little bit different because they will show up as Skyrim skill uncapper for Ordinator. It's not going to matter. Mr. B's is going to show up as role players uncapper. All you have to do is change the name. It's pretty easy to do, but I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? Just download with manager. Once you get here, you can see the name, right? Now you could change it to role players uncapper, but you're going to run into issues there, okay? It looks good, but we need to change the name to the here, let me back up to this. You want it to say Skyrim skill uncapper because we want to merge his uncapper with the Skyrim skill uncapper. It would be the same way as if we were doing it with Cal's version. Okay, you would take this one here for Ordinator because we're using Ordinator as our perk overhaul. So um, so you'll let me go back here again, just make sure it looks good, and we are going to change the name literally to Skyrim skill uncapper. Okay, what this is going to do when I hit OK, it's going to prompt me to overwrite. Mod exists because it's recognizing this one here. What I want to do is I want to merge. I don't want to replace it because then we won't have the skill uncapper. We'll just have Mr. B's and then the mod won't work because you need both. And I've already renamed it, so just ignore these last two. Merge, okay? And I'll show you why. Okay? So that's merged in. Now if we open this in Explorer, SKSE, plugins, Well, there's that uncap or ini that I showed you before, but we're going to check this out now again with Notepad. Okay. And as you can see, I've done this before. I've showed you guys this before. All of your skill levels have now been raised to 255. You can adjust these on the fly if you like to. Okay. I leave them alone. I think 255 is a perfectly fine number. You know, Mr. B's done his homework with this. Um, the skill formula caps he has set to 155. Again, I don't touch this. I leave this alone. Okay. What I sometimes change is the skill experience gain multipliers. Um, these are right now set to 1, which would be default leveling. I am going to adjust these to my own liking. Okay. I'm not going to do this here, but I am going to make a notation for me to do it so that my skills level slower. And I want my skills to level slower because I want to have a nice long play, etc. So, but everything else should be fine. You could look through anything else that's been changed, anything you don't understand, or you may have a question, or maybe you just want to try it out, but you're a little, intimidated. I definitely was. I knew what the uncapper was, and then when I saw, this, and then I watched the video, I was like, oh man. And it was the same thing that happened when I uh, watched the all good setup. I'm like, holy shit, there's a bunch of steps to this. And then Mr. B was literally the one that told me, hey, it's 2 steps. You do the skeleton and the weapon mesh, and that's it. And I'm like, it's that easy? He's like, it's that easy. Okay. But if you have questions about um, either his or Cal's, you guys could hit me up in the Discord, tag me, let me know. Uh, anything I can help with, I'll definitely help with. If I don't have an answer, I will point you in the direction of an answer. Okay. So we have that, and let me do one thing here. We'll close this out for now. I'm gonna make a notation here to adjust. Okay, so if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Adjust the skill experience multipliers because they are set to 1.0, which is default game leveling. I'm going to reduce these from like 1.0 to say 0.7, 0.85 for some. I might up some. I might up some to like 1.2. Maybe I do light armor, but you know how slowly light armor does. And there's Mr. B right there. There you go. How are you? So I always make notations for myself just to remind myself, and you can see it pops up here as a nice little notation for me. If I hover over it, it just says to myself, adjust the skill experience mold set because they're set to default 1.0 leveling, which is base. So I'll eventually, like I said, when I'm done with everything here, I will go back and I will check all my notes. I will, some notes, the majority, like 99% of my notes are say, hey, install this mod under this mod. That's the majority of my notes. If something's merged and it's also got a file that's hidden, yeah, then I'll mark a notation just so I know that I merged a mod and I have a folder hidden. So in case I have to change something, I can go back and revert what I did. So, oh, did you? I've been on the phone with uh both my one of my doctor's office and human resources, Mr. B. It's been a hell of a morning for me. My Xanax is kicking in, by the way, so I'm starting to calm down a little bit. It hasn't been a good morning for me. That's the downside. It hasn't been good until now, until I actually get to sit here and do load order stuff. So, um, All right, uncapper, you are done. Where is? Let's see here. Papyrus Util and Powers of Three. Let us see where you are at. Floating damage. Oh, killing me, Smalls. Okay. So these two I like to keep by each other, just to make sure. SKSE version and SSE version is fine. Download. Yep. And power threes. I think this is the one that was updated, right? Yeah, 1.5.97. You're good. SSE. Bingo. Beautiful. Russell, hey, what's up? CACO. Complete Alchemy Cooking Overhaul. I had it in with Braven. This is going to be for my Argonian character, so he will not be making use of CACO. I'm purely going to run Sky Toxins, I think. I don't even think I'm going to run I Need. I'm not sure about this yet. Like I said, this is going to be super uber late for the most part. Because Braven, I got him to, I think it was level 31. Maybe I hit 32. I'm not sure. I think it was 31. And I encountered an irreversible issue with an immediate stutter and CTD after 30 levels. Yep, I just installed your uncapper, Mr. B. And no, he won't be a shadow scale Russell. Iron Wolf is no more, sadly. I wiped clean this morning, very early this morning, by the way, due to frustration. I did a couple things when talking with Tim. Um, he had suggested that it was Murray because I had her loaded when I did my LODs. So I wound up taking, I deactivated her and I reran TextGen, I reran Dynalod without her, thinking that because she has area edits outside of Winterhold, right? I know, me too. Yeah, I was really into that play. Yep, I was really into that play. I never play melee characters, and I haven't played a werewolf since I was on console. And not even last year, probably the year before. Because the werewolf mechanic is just so freaking bulky and herky jerky and all those other words for that stuff. So, um, but E and I did a fantastic job with Growl. Um, but we're actually going to use Sacrosanct this time. We're going to use Sacro for the Argonian. No, he's not a shadow scale. Um, he is going to be a unarmed combatant. You're going to love Growl. You will absolutely love it. I think everybody that I mean, I've been pushing Growl on a lot of people. I've really been not to say like like I push it like E-Nice mods don't need me to push them. Do you know what I mean? But I went through basically all of it. I went through basically all of it, with the exception of finding the totems or doing the quest to get the totems from like Ayla and some of the companions and stuff like that. Um, it's the real deal, dude. It is legit. It's also got an expansion for Werebear, but I think the Werebear one still has a slight issue. It's just an optional. But there's only like one skin for it. There's one skin for the werewolf. Um, but there's another one for it too that allows you to be like a half beast race or a half beast look to your character, where you'll have fur in human form, which I didn't use. Um, I just wanted to test the main mod before I went to anything deeper. Uh, And again, like I said, Enei doesn't need me of all people to sell his work, but man, he knocked it out of the park with Growl. It got a couple updates. There was a couple issues from the first version uh until what it is now. Let's see here. And I think it even received another. Yeah, it's got the Mortal Enemies patch, right? Growl tweaks, which isn't by Enei, but I'm not really sure what this does. Um, there are two files here. Yeah, this is it. The Half Beast visuals adds claws and fur to your character in mortal form if you have the beast blood. Not compatible with body and race mods. So here's the question: you can't use, and I've been wondering this. Does this affect Imperius? Because Imperius has race mods. If you already have the beast blood when you install this, it takes up to 15 seconds for your visuals to update. That I don't know. I have seen some pictures of this, and it looks quite good. But you see, he has a new upload date of the 1st of January. Now, I had done my load order prior to this 1.1. I think it was 1.04. So if I go back and look at the change logs, let me see. Yeah, this was the latest version when I installed it, 1.0.4. So he did 1.0.5, re-uploaded to fix corrupt zip archive. Wow, okay. Call of the Blood no longer activates. Wow, he did a lot. Half Beast visuals are no longer in MCM toggleable, but come in a separate, okay, separate optional file. Upgrade warning: if you were previously using feature 1.6, it is old MCM. Added an option to become invulnerable during transformation. Lycanthropic regeneration now is the correct magic effect save. So he's still updating this. He's still making changes to his mod. I highly recommend it. Highly, highly. It's not really a half breed. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's really just the visuals. It's gonna be whatever it is. Half beast visuals, not half breed. Half beast. So what that means, I don't know if he has an image of it. He might. Here it is. See the furs? That's what you're gonna look like. I would assume any Nord, Orc, well, really any race if you think about it. But think of like Nord Imperial, with the human races and Orc. They would stand out more to me having these types of visuals. You could make a really nice looking character with this. I don't see any fur coming out of this guy's ears, so I think the guards, would just assume he's a hairy Nord. Growl is fantastic, by the way. Experience had an update this morning too, and Nethers. Oh, follower framework. Okay, cool. You can't get Sacro to work. Do you have any other vampire mods, Russell? Mr. B, hold on, wait a minute. You made a race edit because you want your. I like the Saxleo. I actually like that too. Like obviously they're Argonian, but they're native Saxleo. I still run extensible follower framework. I tried Nethers once and it was okay, but like I said, I've been running EFF and EFF has been around for such a long time. Kind of like how AFT's been around for a little bit, but Extensible has been around. Not a lot of people like the spinny wheel. I like it though. It's got more of like a role play choice feel to it for me. And then you could obviously go into their normal dialogue, where it's if you want to talk to them, it brings up their normal dialogue box and the options there. I like the spinny wheel. I think it's pretty cool. But some people don't like it. So I'm like, yeah, well, it works. It's a solid follower mod. Especially well, obviously for vanilla followers, and it doesn't affect your custom followers like Inigo or Lucian or what was the other one, Kaidan. It didn't affect Marae when I used her. So maybe it's their AI being so intelligent that it knows not. Well, no, you're loading them below that anyway, so they're just taking precedence. But the wheel would never pop up for a custom follower. Like it never popped up for Inigo, it never popped up for Lucian, but it would pop up for vanilla followers like it's supposed to do. Yep, yep. What was I looking at here? I was looking at. All right, I think I'm looking at. Yes, I'm sure console util should be here. Ooh, one more thing I have to do. Before I always do this for floating damage. The ini. I always have to make sure I go back in and change this because I will forget this. Okay. And that's just so it's not crazy. Uh, I think yes, I'm sure. Do I have that saved? Is that a different one? No. Okay. Hmm. All right. What the hell? Do I have it under something else? Oh, because there's no apostrophe. There it is. No apostrophe. You do the right thing, and it's just no, it doesn't want anything to do with you. 1.5.97. Yep, we're good. All right, so we got a few. Piracy Util looks good. Power of threes. Set that. That looks good. Yes, I'm sure. That looks good. Okay, cool. So we got three more to bring up. Bring them on up. Right under Mr. Uncapier. Yeah, Complete Alchemy, I believe, needs SKSE. Let me just double check. I'm almost positive it does. Check real quick. It should. Yeah, SKSE. So yeah, you wouldn't be seeing it. You would need a whole new alchemy overhaul for values, for active effects. You could do it without SKSE, but it would require a lot of work. I know a couple people have tried, and there's a couple mods on there that do tweak alchemy slightly, but mostly it's just potions over time. I think they pretty much leave it at that for poisons and for uh, your normal health, magic, and stamina. Sometimes they adjust the resists, that like the values, meaning it'll be X percent, but instead of being for 60 seconds like they normally are, they'll change it to something like 300 seconds, so you actually get better use out of it, which makes sense. I mean, 60 seconds in a fight, you may only have like, a couple ice spikes or, fireballs tossed at you, and then nothing. Then it wears off. Then you have to, stock up on 1,000 of them just for one battle. But as far as everything else that CACO does, yeah, you need the script extender. It does a lot of stuff. It does a lot. Um, no small mod either. Um, you're looking at 220 megabytes. So, I mean, it adds the butterflies, serving sizes. Well, I mean, you guys could read the description here. Here's the it's mod number 19924 on Nexus. And this is everything it does. There's a lot. The effects, the ingredients, harvesting. So you have harvest overhaul basically within it. The potions, the perks. So you see what it does. It affects the perks. Alchemical bombs. These are ones I was hoping to get into, but I didn't. Tools, waxes, salves, and bandages. It does a lot. It does a lot. Food effects, cooking recipes, you get cooking skill, your basic needs, alcohol and inebriation. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. All right, Tim. Happy you stopped by, bud. Sax little name. UASP. The Tamriel name generator. But I'll be honest with this. I do use it on occasion to try and find a decent name. But man, you got to cycle through that until something stands out at you that doesn't seem ridiculous. I don't know where, and they just keep recycling their names too. Like they just keep, you know. What I found too, a lot of the times, if you're using something like um, one of the beast races, look on the UESP for the lore. It actually tells you what their pre and suffixes stand for. Uh, Specifically more towards the Khajiit. Like Re for like Resad and MA for Madron. Uh, JO I think for Carjo. Uh, Although his name might be all together, I'm not sure. Stuff like that. Now the Argonians also have something like that too, where I don't think it's necessarily a hierarchy, but it stands, maybe it is a hierarchy. Maybe that's probably the best way to say it. Um, but it means something. It means something. So that's always a good way to pick it out too. If you have like an idea of what your character's name is going to be, um, you can always go there to try and find something. Or I'll be honest, half the time making it up yourself seems to work out even better. I just use it as like a. Let me see if I can even find it here. Might be here. Yeah, name generator. Uh, this might not be it. No, it's not it. Where is it? Oh, fantasy name. This one here. And then these are the Elder Scroll name generator. It's right here. So what you would do is you would pick on the race, and you can see it's got other ones too, like the Forsworn, the Maomar, the Chimer, Daedra, the Need, right? Dwemer, Falmer, the Saichi. They do have your standard, right? Dragon, It's pretty cool. Spriggan. That's a new one to me. Uh, Iliad. Yeah, you get the picture. So you say, what I'll do is I'll click on Argonian. So here it is right here in this nice little white box. So depending if you're gonna run a male or female, I think it starts off default for with like 10 males, but just hit this again and you can see it updates it instantly. And what I find to do is sometimes I'll actually use their quote unquote last name as maybe their first name if it looks better. That name sounds familiar. Okan. He was a that name was wow, that brings back memories. But it makes sense. But he wasn't Saxel, he was Anciliel, if memory serves me correct. Ren might be able to chime in on this. But something like this, like if I look at and say Jin Tai or Jin Tae, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Yep, CW. Yep. That would be for Oaken Bitter Tree or Okan Bitter Tree. I've actually recently. Oh, the Black Prince is the series. That's the name of it. Um, that's the name that he gave that character. But and I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff I'm going to be basing my Argonian off of is that. Except A, mine's going to be a vampire. B, well, yes, I'm going to use sky toxins. He's going to be an unarmed combatant, so he's going to have a monk fighting style for melee. Whereas Okan was a hide in the shadows constantly. My character is going to do the same thing too, obviously as a vampire, but I'm setting like shadling style limits on this character where he could be out in town doing business, but if he's on a job for, say, the Brotherhood or the Thieves Guild, he is absolutely under no circumstance allowed to be seen. That's like shadling territory. Do you know what I mean? Um, but again, he'll be walking in town. I may give him, if I could find the silencer stuff, I may do that as like an alternate armor. But I was thinking more like the Wayfarer's coat. Um, But yeah, this is what I do to try and find the names. I'll go through them. I'll just keep clicking on names till something stands out. If nothing stands out after doing this 5 minutes and I get annoyed, um, I'll just make something up. So, where was I on my load order? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. Console util and EMB helper. Beautiful. And this should be updated already. Yeah, 1st of December. Always make sure the right version of SKSE in the game. Some of these haven't updated yet, so you just want to be careful of it. Yep, 1.597, yep. This is for the old version. You want the new one. Unless you're still using the old version, in which case, all the more power to you. So console util looks good. EMB helper needs to be set. That looks good. What else do I have here? I love shading. Marl was probably my favorite overall character because of A, the voice that Stu did for him. Shadling was a very unique character. I did like a version of Shadling on console, but he actually used daggers. But he used I want to say near identical with that exception. Um, But now this is going back to very early 2017 after like Apocalypse had come out and we had mod support on console. Fast forward until, I didn't even know of Couch Warrior back then. Um, Come to find out that he's been doing the series and that was one of his characters and I'm like, well, I didn't wear the same armor, obviously. We were limited to the type of armor, nor did my character have a mask, you know. But as far as like the apocalypse spells, I ran that, but the only difference there is I used a lot of frenzy stuff to get the enemies to fight first, and then I would set traps and stuff like that. It was actually pretty fun. Um, but Marl I think is probably my overall. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Part of it's the voice that Stu does for him because he does it randomly throughout the rest of his stream. So every time I hear it, and it was the intro music too. The intro music to Ashes, you know. I still get chills every time I used to hear that intro. Yeah, that was my old console build that was on there. I did two for Skyforge. I did my Dragonborn of Worms, which is kind of like it was a Nordic necromancer that was morally good that used shouts. Yep. Yeah, I had two on there. Yeah, I would have kept putting more up, but then the site just kind of freaking died. And like I'm still subbed to them I'm like on YouTube, but they're not active. They don't really do anything. They just stick to the site. And then I go there and it's like they're using like vanilla perks for some of these builds. And I'm like, you realize the game's been out for like 9 years now? Almost 9 years. And you're making some of these decent builds, but you have so many more utilities to do this with. And then it just made me question the people that are making these builds. Like they sound cool, but like and they play on PC too for the most part. Like they have like their mod structure, they have like what mods are required and everything. And I'm like, you guys can do better than this. And I got into an argument with one of them on there because I called him out. I said, not that the build's bad. I said, but the build's bad. It's a shit build. It's a build that, I can make on my console. Why are you doing like it's been done back in like 2012. I like Fudge Muppet did this. Like, you know what I mean? I got into an argument with one of the guys there. There was nothing unique about it. There was nothing. Yeah, I kind of figured. Not that they're all bad. Like their higher ups are pretty cool to talk to. I, this one particular guy, because he had commented on my Nord, my Dragonborn that was a necromancer that shouted. But he's like, no necromancer would ever be good. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point of this build, is he's morally good, and he uses created skeletons of bandits and other evil enemies, blah blah blah. He won't raise dead. He will if he has to, but it won't be an innocent. Like, and he won't murder somebody. But the guy's like, that doesn't make any sense. And why does he shout? I'm like, because I wanted him to. I said, where's your build? I said, let me see how unique your build is. He had nothing. So I basically called him out and it was bullshit. And he got mad about it. Like a little freaking snowflake. You just call people out on their bullshit. Like he was just looking for something to argue with that day, I think, and he picked the wrong person. And then when I remember talking to it might have been Curse. I said, yeah, I said the guy was just out of line. He's like, well, you didn't need to like lay into him. I'm like, oh no, I did. I said, otherwise he'll do that to somebody else. Oh well, it is what it is. They don't put out the best builds anyway. I'll go back to Fudge Muppets builds, or I'll go back to like Xerix if I'm looking for something that has actual substance. Or I'll do my own, because the ones that I've done are better than anything they have in the Skyforge anyway. And that's gonna sound arrogant, but it's the freaking truth. I've been doing this a long, long time. Couch Warrior does it better than I do. I'm never gonna compete with him. He has he has all the talent in the world. His builds are unique. Like I said, he's my aspiration to be able to do what he does. But I'm getting off track here. I'm supposed to be doing this, and I'm supposed to be waiting for a phone call. So call's not going to be coming. I know it's not going to be coming. I'll have to take a break and do it myself. So engine fixes. We can get rid of these. We have these. All right. I think to your face and J containers. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, to your face. Uh, which one was it? Hold on a second. I have to find it. It's gotta be one of these. I think it's the second one, but I'm not sure. We'll find out as soon as I see the date and the file. Oh yeah, it's the other one. That's the updated one. Yep, there it is. Oh, Robert was awesome. Yeah, Robert Graves was freaking great. I never understood the mechanic of how he got his when he would go to draw his bow, how he would get that to be shaky. I always liked that about him. And I think I first found him with Twist. I was just looking for something to do, and I came across Twist. And then I remember I think he was done with the entire series at that point, or he was almost finished. So I binged the entire Twist saga. Which is no easy feat to do, because there was a lot of videos for there. UI extensions is the last one, and then we get into some of the bigger boys. Just check the requirements really quick here. Yep, for add item menu. Okay. All right. Bring that back up. We're gonna go with a whole different music mod today as well. I usually go with fantasy soundtrack. I think I'm changing it up. We'll have to see. Unofficial patch, then Physis file access. Just All right. Get the unofficial patch going. Still haven't figured out if I'm going to go Cathedral for the landscapes or if I'm going to go Skyline. I think I'm going Skyland. I was tempted to go Cathedral. Do I have... Hold on, I may have a different version of file access. I have to check this out. I'm going to keep going back to my saved mods. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I have another folder of these, but... Alright, we don't need the plugins, we just need the game folder. Okay, we're good. We need this one here. Bam. Oh, I know how much you do, Loki. Carrying your shit for you. That's awesome. Oh, jeez. USSEP. File access, yep. Oh, don't you do that to me. There you go. So now we got... Ooh. Forgot the UI extensions has a plugin. We want the unofficial patch up top. There we go. That may change, but that's how I have it set up from here. Just then add item menu. Yep. Killing traitor assassins. Ah, Nesbit, what's up? All sorted, huh? Was that you sending messages out? Because I wasn't sure. Maybe it was. Oh no, that's you and Sword. I think she said she's available today. I believe. Don't quote me on it. We want... So I will be using Rustic Soul Gems, but Rustic actually has a FOMOD with the gist patch in it. So I just need the main file here for this. I will be making use of this. Add item menu, obviously. And it requires UI extensions. Yep. So those SKSE plugins can pretty much go in any order, but okay. Come on. I hate when it does this. Because then you think you're going to mess up your entire, let's see, did that add? Yeah, gist and add item menu have it. Okay. Let's go back to my list here. Awesome. How are you? So are you going to be, out of curiosity, are you going to be streaming today or are you still doing a little bit of testing? I play full screen when I stream. Yes. I watch the chat on my phone, like I'm doing right now. I have the chat up on my cell phone right next to me here, and then I have when I game on full screen. I'm getting used to the setup. Nice. I could never figure out how to get the chat to like, pop up on a small little window here through OBS, And I'm sure it's just, my lack of uh, going through the setups here. I'm sure there's a way to get it popped up. Um, I'll eventually do it, for the time being. But I don't like to have another, like anything else obstructing my view. I like to have the full screen, so I'd rather just have it on my phone. You want to be able to see. I see. I want to be able to see the window, but I also want to be able to see the entire, 27 inches of gaming without the window. But at the same time, that's my conundrum is I'd like the chat to be on there so it's not on my phone. I'll have to figure it out too. You know who I should ask? I should ask Odin because he's been doing it for a while. We want it all, yeah. Good song, by the way. Was that Queen? Or I think it's called I Want It All. Yeah, Odin would definitely know. I'll send him a message later on today just to see if he's got any pointers. I mean, he does that with console too when he plays on his Xbox. When he records with his Elgato. I think that's what I think. Yeah, I'll have to ask him later. I'll send him a message. Any information he tells me, I will forward to you, or I'll leave up in a I'll tag you in yours, and I'll let you know. I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing though. I'm doing light. I'm not even copying this load order. I'm just getting my basics out of the way, and then after that we're going to be going. I'm going to use a new. I'm debating on going back to audio overhaul. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Or if I might just stick with Immersive Sounds Compendium instead of Lucidity, just to save a little bit of space, keep the performance light, you know. And I'm not sure if Lucidity and Autumn Skies Weather would need a patch. I don't think they would, but you never know because of the raindrops and what Lucidity changes. So that was something I wanted to check out. I never got a chance to yet, but I will be checking that out. Mod Organizer. I'm telling you. You see it here. I have all my executables. I could add a mod from anywhere I want that's got a zip file or a folder. Um, Multiple profiles at the touch of a button. You only have to download the mod once. They transfer over. Organizer. It's hey, and Nesbitt, here's the main thing. I'll show you. And you've probably seen this before. Here's my game folder, right? Here's my Skyrim game folder. Here's my data folder. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. And when you want to plug a mod into the CK, you take the mod from your virtual, quote unquote, virtual folder. Your virtual folder is going to be located in users, your name or your computer, your app data, local. You'll have a mod organizer folder here with the game and mods. So anytime you're doing any work, ignore the separators. You take that mod, you open it up, take the ESP or the BSA, extract it however you do it, and just put it right into your data folder, files and all. Then when you're done, take it right back out, throw it back out. Keep it nice and clean. It's really easy to use. I was intimidated the first time. I was going to go with Vortex, to be honest with you. Vortex is what I was going to use. I figure, it seems a little easier to use. I hadn't done anything with the PC since, 2002, 2003. I said, let me take it, baby steps. And I was kind of pressed to say I was pressed to use mod organizer by John. John was saying, "Hey, listen, it's just a superior mod manager tool. Trust me, once you get used to it, you're gonna love it. You're not gonna want to go back." And I don't regret that in the least. I love it. This is the main thing here. I love having this nice clean data folder. Nothing's in here. When I go to load my game, it takes it from here, from right here. So floating damage, the interface, the SKSE plugins, the DLL, and the INI, right? Everything's from here. My game folder, of course, has SKSE and engine fixes, things like that. So, but that's normal. Yeah, I heard it was temperamental. I've also seen some people give some really good tutorials on it, but at the same time, a good tutorial doesn't necessarily mean a good product. Yeah, that's one of the main selling points of MO2. Your data folder will be 100% clean every time you run the game. It takes all the mods from your virtual folder, which is in app data. It's technically not quote unquote virtual. It's on your computer, but it's just in a different spot. Yep. And this is Nexus Mod Manager was before, like I said, I just built my PC less than a year ago. So I didn't even get a chance to use Nexus Mod Manager. But like I said, Vortex does have some really good setups, tutorials, and tips and tricks on how to use it to make it a little bit easier. But I've seen way too many users have issues with Vortex, regardless of ease of use. And clogging up your data folder like that, it didn't sit well with me. So Mod Organizer 2 made the most sense at the time, and I'm happy I did. I'm happy I did. We did these two. Let's see. Add item menu. Okay. Food. Oh, food. You're making me hungry now. I will be taking a break in a little bit though because I do have to. I didn't get the call I was expecting, so I will be making a phone call in a little bit. I want to get to at least my audio stuff before I do. J containers, unofficial patch file, gist, add item menu, GDO. Okay, so we can. Let's throw in Lanterns of Skyrim 2. Because why not? This is a big file, but I think this is going to look good. Um, Matthew Medieval Lanterns and Candles. Smim Lantern. Every lantern is EMB light compatible. The workers. This is the main thing I'm not sure about. All right, we'll figure it out. This, like I said, this is a large file. The main file is here, 1.1 gig, and then the update is. Okay, so we need both of these. Okay. Wait on lanterns? Son of a bitch. Can I cancel this? Hold on. There it is. Cancel. Did it send it down to the bottom here? Okay, no, it just deleted it. What's up, Tim? So, wait on lanterns. There are patches for other mods. Oh, so just install it later. Okay, cool. Alright, we'll do that. We'll wait on that. Um, Cutting room floor. Uh, yeah, let's put cutting room floor in. Shit, I hate doing this. There we go, okay. And guard dialogue, and weapons, armor, clothing, rustic, and bam. So we'll wait on these. Okay, CRF, yes. Instead of the guard overhaul, wasn't there cathedral clothing? I think, who was it that was telling me that? Might have been Mr. B. I'm not sure. Somebody was using it. Or Sonar, maybe. And I wanted to try it instead of the guard, not guard dialogue, guard armor replacer, like the cathedral clothing. But I'm wondering how it's gonna. All right, let's just get these loaded in first. We'll get these first two, and then I'll go back. I just want to take a look here. There's a lot of cathedral stuff here. There's luminosity, lighting. Cathedral armory. This might be it. Yeah, it's got to be it. Let me see. Yeah, Johnny Wang. Okay. Skyrealism shiny. Insane armory. Bows and crossbows, hammers and maces. Lean wolf spitter shaped weapons. Unique uniques. Improved NPC clothing. Complete retexture of studded armor. 2K dragon scale. CBBE enhancer. Thieves Guild armor. Wow. Let's take a look. I don't know. It looks good. It looks solid. Couple versions? Let me see. That's more of like a more polished. This is looks more weathered. That actually looks pretty nice. I've never been a fan of Dwarven, mainly because of the bell-bottom freaking boots, but um, and the helmet's kind of like you're mixing Dwarf and Roman. It doesn't really make sense, but you know it is what it is. I absolutely cannot stand the gold, yellow, canary, elven. I like the black. I might just go with the Amidian Born. I'm not sure. Ebony looks nice. Any pictures of the weapons? Ecotone works out of the box. Nice. I mean, it's highly detailed. It's just never been a fan really of the orcish weapons ever. I mean, I get them, but I've just never really been a fan. Ah, damn it. Oh, I won't really worry about it right now. Get rustic. I always like rustic clothing. And ace. Wait, it wants to load. Okay. Grab the main file. So we have CRF. You look good. GDO. You'll look good. Rustic, you will not. To set you. Armor clothing extension. Yep. Now I think with this I should have the Ace MCM. Which I don't believe I do. Let me check my downloads. Nope. Nope. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's not a big deal. All right. All right. Let's see. So I need the widget mod. SKY. All right. Let's see here. So quality world map I'll place a little bit lower. That's not a big deal. This character is not going to be a crafting character, so no CCOR, so we don't have to really worry about it. Um, Skyhood. That's right, Skyhood. I have Sky UI already, so we are going to. Um, and then the update file. Missing UI components. Right. So with this, I will take the ESP package, the Oblivion preset. Although, Tim, I don't know if you went back, because I can't remember what I did the last time. I think I just selected Oblivion and iHUD compatibility, but nothing else. Well, they're the only things you could choose. Yeah, SkyHUD and immersive HUD compatibility. Yep, that should be it. Okay. And then this is the update patch. Looks good. Let's merge that in. Okay, matter of time here. Okay. So we're going to install the widget mod first, which is right here. Set the data directory, make sure it looks good. And then customizable UI replacer. We want the SkyHUD version, which is this one right here. Because I am not using less intrusive HUD. So there's the widget, and bring this up, activate it, and custom UI. I like the classic right there with the Astrolab and everything over on the side. Go custom font. I take normal so I can have the. You could do differently if you wanted to. Although ESO Thief, I don't know. I might use this one. Yeah, let's use this one for this time. And then display enemy numbers. And readme and install. Okay. Cool. That should be that. And then immersive HUD, more HUD, those all come next. So, immersive HUD, more HUD, more HUD inventory edition. Yep. The ESO Thief. Nice. I'm doing it mainly for this character. He's going to be covered up with the hood. Immersive HUD's a fantastic mod. iHUD. So are these. So are the more HUD mods. And This one is, we want the loose version of this. Should be fine. I think this one I need to set. Yep. And I think the same thing with this. Okay. Okay. So that's it for me for right now, guys. I haven't gotten that phone call. I have to make the phone call. So I'm gonna end the stream here for now. Then I'm gonna grab some lunch, or I should say a late lunch. I will restart it a little bit later. Okay. So we'll continue to go if you feel like joining me. Absolutely. Uh, I might go over the character a little bit more than I did, just aside from saying, yeah, he's an Argonian and he's going to be unarmed. Um, might go over some more mods relating to that too. So, but I have some real life stuff that I have to take care of. So, all right, I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining me, and everybody enjoy your day. Have a good one.